When it comes to daredevils in history, we have witnessed many. Johnny Knoxville, PewDiePie, and of course Mario. This Italian hero has gone through many dangerous scenarios in order to save his one and only girl. From pools of lava that will be your end instantly, to hordes of enemies that will try to stop you no matter what. However, out of all the huge obstacles and traps seen in the world of the Mushroom Kingdom, which ones are the most deadly? Well, let's find out. Number 10. In most Mario games, platforming is your main challenge and can be a difficult thing to overcome. And of course, Bowser always tries to make this more and more difficult for our hero. One way of doing this is messing with the platforms you're standing on. Here, push blocks come in. These are protruding platforms that appear in the Cap Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. They constantly alternate between moving inwards and outwards from the wall, and are used both as pushing obstacles and as a platform. There are even some power moons hidden in them, which can be especially tricky to get. However, what's even worse is that these can be your end if you don't pay attention, because you will fall to your death. And the way they alternate and overlap at certain portions makes it even harder, because you can fall and can get pushed off. All of this makes for quite a difficult obstacle to get past that will even trick you at times if your head is somewhere else. It's a bit similar to the things we saw in Whomp's Fortress in Super Mario 64, but as long as you keep an eye on the platforms going in and out and time your jumps correctly, you will be fine, I think. Number 9. Now, while falling to your doom can certainly be unpleasant, there are more things in the Mario world that will try to end you in a horrifying way. Like some of the waters found in lands Mario travels to. The purple kind that might seem normal, but is anything but. Because it's poison! Yeah, the whole water thing was a bit of a lie, so don't actually try to swim in it. It is known as a liquid hazard and is found in several games, and coming into contact with it will cause you to lose a life or take damage. Similar to lava in ways. This stuff can be unforgivable and instantly ends your game if you don't watch out, which forces you to do the platforming sections perfectly. One weird thing about this stuff though is that some enemies like wigglers can walk through it and live, while Mario can't. Certainly an interesting substance and a hard obstacle to deal with, but as long as you use your enemies to help you here and there and just don't touch it, nothing will go wrong. Unless you're playing Super Mario Sunshine. Then you can just swim in it and use it as mouthwash without dying by the looks of it. Number 8. Alright, are you ready for the most cringy joke in history? Because next up we will be looking at something shocking: electric fences! No? Well, alright then, jeez, let's just take a look at it and ignore what I just said. These electric fences are seen in games like Super Mario Galaxy, where they occasionally move horizontally throughout the world and shock you if contact is made. Now, you don't die instantly when you get hit by this, even though like 20 million volts are running through your body. But something else does happen, which is even more horrifying than dying. When you get shocked, you can see Mario's skeleton and all the power going through his freaking bones. And if you lose a life from an electric fence, he will sometimes turn into a skeleton, just laying there, with all of his flesh burned off. So this hazard is both hard to get past and also absolutely devastating for Mario. Number 7. There have been times in the Mario games where I looked at certain traps made by Bowser and I would think, isn't this going a bit too far? The thing I'm talking about are all the statues of the Koopa King himself found in this castle that he sometimes adds a booby trap of sorts to. For example in Super Mario Bros. 3, where they are sometimes harmless, but other times shoot a laser when Mario approaches. Can you just imagine if the Statue of Liberty could shoot freaking lasers out of its eyes? That would be crazy, right? And the insane thing about it all is that Bowser didn't stop there. In later games they can do even more crazy surprise attacks, like gigantic fireballs, just a normal stream of fire, and there's even a really big one that stands in lava and punches the track in Mario Kart. Clearly, Bowser can go a bit overboard, and this results in some nasty and painful traps that can easily take you out if you don't know what you're doing. Number 6. Now, sometimes when you go through one of Bowser's bases or airships, you will come across something that is obviously a trap. However, this doesn't make them less dangerous, because the burners can leave you in ruins, when you're hit by one. Their design is similar to that of the Bill Blasters, however, they emit big flames instead of a bullet. The flames stay blowing for a few seconds, then stop for a while, and you must use this time to navigate through or around them. In addition, they can be mounted on either walls, floors, ceilings, so their flames can blow in any direction. As you can imagine, these can be hard to get past and are a danger from every single angle. And when you're hit by this, Mario will certainly feel it. To be honest, it should actually burn a hole through you if you get hit. However, it can also be very useful to get your average airship moving, making quick travel possible, or just to burn a gigantic crater in your chest. Number 5. So far, we've only discussed things that are only found in the levels to make your life a lot harder. However, there are also some that are out there to help you one moment and totally screw you over the next. One of those is the warp pipes. While they can be handy to get to certain other places, they can also have a nasty surprise. These pipes are first used for transportation in Super Mario Bros., and some even lead to underground levels or bonus rooms. But piranha plants can also be found in many pipes and are potential hazards. One day you will find the biggest treasures in the entire world, and the next you end up between the teeth of a vicious plant like you were playing Smash Bros. Online against a piranha plant main. Heck, some pipes even spawn Goombas or Bob-ombs, so even if there's not a plant in it, you can still be overrun by enemies thanks to it. Clearly it can help you in your adventures, but also doom you in multiple ways. Number 4. Now, the more you look into these nightmarish contraptions, the scarier and more psychotic things become. Because it's quite clear that Bowser is dedicated to take out Mario, for good, and that the Mushroom World is incredibly deadly for everyone. One great example of this is the chainsaws, who are also known as buzzsaws, and are seen a lot in Super Mario World. It's a mechanical saw that travels on wires in the game, but you can survive them by performing a spin jump or stomping it while on a Yoshi to rebound on them. They appear in most of the levels that have wires with platforms traveling across them, and a lot can be found in the Cheese Bridge area. In the levels, these can already be a huge threat, because they're fast and quite big, making them hard to get past. Although they can also be used by the players to do things with, which is quite cool and makes them less simplistic. However, this can also increase the chance of getting hit, because you try to spin jump on them. And as you can imagine, getting hit by it isn't that fun. Just look at this artist's rendition of the whole situation. Just look at the fear in his eyes. Number 3. Now, as you could have noticed throughout this list, Bowser seems to be a huge fan of fire, which is sort of understandable. So, as most would imagine, his castles are filled to the brim with fire-related death traps like lava, fireball shooters, and more. But there's one that's by far the most terrifying to face. The fire bars, which are rotating rods made of fireballs, first appearing in Super Mario Bros. They're found in numerous titles throughout the Mario franchise. They are generally found in fortresses and are extremely dangerous obstacles that Mario must avoid in order to reach his goal. The thing that scares me the most when I come across these deadly devices is the fact that they cover quite a big area, and as soon as you go, there is no stopping or it will get you. Especially when there are a lot of them in a tight space. This can be a nerve-wracking experience that may very well end up in you staring at the game over screen. And in 2D games, this can happen quite quickly when you have no power up at all, making one hit of these fiery fiends an instant death. Number 2. Alright, by now you have an idea of how insane some of Bowser's traps can be. So let's have a look at one that is the most brutal and deadly in my opinion. The Skewers, which are absolutely gigantic pillars with spikes on them, and as you can imagine, these are scary. First appearing in Super Mario World, they can either power down Mario or crush him for an instant loss of life. In later titles, however, the Skewers can only power down Mario, which is a bit of a shame. It should be able to take you out instantly. Just look at the thing. I'm actually amazed that Mario can survive getting hit by one of these. Because sheesh, I don't know how much force and stress will be put on his tiny body, but probably way too much. And the bad thing about them, they fall down fast and quite sudden. Even if you stop at the right time and hit its side, you will be damaged, making this 100% the most deadly thing Bowser has ever come up with. Number 1. Alright, to end this video, we will look at one of the most deadly and scary experiences Mario has ever gone through. And this time, it's not really Bowser's fault that Mario has to deal with it, because the Mario world itself is already deadly enough. Quicksand, various types of which appear in Super Mario 64, especially in Shifting Sandland. Most of it will pull Mario down to around the waist, and is a somewhat orange color in comparison to the more yellow regular sand. But the dark brown quicksand around the Toxbox area and the pyramid will pull Mario down immediately. I think I don't really have to explain why this is both an effective way of taking out Mario and quite scary to look at. And it's not even Bowser this time, but I'm 100% certain that this is the most awful way to go for any Mushroom Kingdom inhabitant. Hey you there, before you go, be sure to click the subscribe button and the bell button. YouTube has been really bad with notifications. I've noticed that. I've looked in the analytics. Woo! And also Twitter and Instagram. Follow me there. It's in the description. Yeah, thank you, lovely. Also watch more videos.